Okay, so we start with something called as design thinking. We're going to introduce you to the process of creativity. We're going to help you learn design thinking in 3 steps. So this is the most simplest, since I think all of you are beginners into design thinking. We're going to do a very simple 3-step process in design thinking. Okay. So I'm going to take you into a world of design where probably everything around is design. So all of you on the call have to be very observant because I'm going to ask plenty of questions in the session. Okay. So I play a short video for you. Be very, very sharp and observative. Try to notice everything possible in the video. There's going to be a lot of questions coming up for you.
Lavina, I think you need to
Yes,
use the computer audio.
I have already done that.
Okay, yes, thanks.
So we're going to probably take a look at this video, and we're going to have some kind of communication now, since design is also about how you communicate. So, we're going to do a small session on this. I want all of you all to be very interactive. The chat boxes to be full of comments. So, even my energy goes up, right? I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Which was the most interesting example in the whole video that you loved the design of, and you thought, ये product मेरे पास होना चाहिए, or I should have this product? Okay, so my chat box should read a lot and loud, and it have a lot of examples coming up on it. I loved the way where the children were learning. The dog is running in AR. The man has two phones in his hand and he's walking around. Yes. So, we are all going to be coming up with these ideas. And it's no more a sci-fi. From my childhood days, I had seen a lot of sci-fis and were very interested in the same. Now I realized, as design thinker, I can actually make them, and I have my own firm, so I can hire my team and get the same things done. And it's a lot of fun. Every day is like I am living my dream of making a sci-fi film around. Okay, so man talking on the phone, digital analysis on farming was interesting. The AR technology used where probably there were digital mapping, tracking, and a lot of things happening. There was history reading, there was interactive boards for the kids, there was certificates, there were movements, there were screens which were completely based on the walls, they were projecting. Don't you feel this kind of world is very interesting, and all of us would want to live in such a world full of design? So this is probably what comes to your mind when, what is the one word that comes to your mind when I say the word design? Typically something like this, very fancy Apple products to very fine refined quality of design, everything class A type, luxury, probably Adidas to Nike, and all these brands come to your mind, right? Aesthetic, innovation, creativity, a lot of such words come to your mind. True. But I want to tell you something further which you need to know apart from this. The story is a little different. Every design has some purpose behind it, and the purpose behind it is to fit in the primary functions of the people who require the design. So, it has to fit for the people and the environment it is made for, and it need not be fancy all the times. So, in our reality, these are the kind of devices which are designed. Can you see the load carrier? Is a phenomenal design done by Indian, and it has won too many red dot awards to core 77 awards. The one you see here, probably, this is a 50 rupees voice box, precisely a 49 rupees voice box developed by Dr. Vikas. It's called Om, and these kind of technologies are a brilliant design. Now at rupees 49, the person who suffered from cancer and has got an entire voice box removed can only speak with this 49 rupees medical device. In the world of medical medicine, it is like a revolutionary thing. And let me tell you very honestly, when Facebook designs, they have to keep a check on what it looks like on their feature phones and not what it looks like on your smartphones or your iPhones. So even this part of design is very, very critical, where you have to design for people and environment around you. And this is what design is for, like India, you can say. Okay. So Mr. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was a person whom we look at when we talk about design thinking. He was the one who coined this term. It was Apple who was, who brought this entire concept of design thinking, user experience in the market. He believes in the idea design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is also how it works. So here I am telling you tricks to do design thinking with a very responsible quotient that it should also work. Okay, so design thinking is a process of creative problem solving under which you utilize elements from the design toolkit like an empathy or an experimentation, finding an inspiration to probably implementation and getting an innovative solution out. The whole mission of design thinking is to translate your observations to insights, and these insights convert to product or services which are meant to improvise life. We always say that design thinking is very user centered. What I mean by the term user centered is it should improve the user's life, or it should be very user centric, improving the lives of people around. So, design thinking does this job of making you think out of the box, making crazy, weird, stupid ideas which you thought were not going to be useful see the light of the day, making them meaningful in lives of people. The person who created TikTok had no idea that TikTok will be viral and everybody would want to be on TikTok. These kind of things only happen with design thinking. So when I say the word design, it's meant for individual. You generally craft a product under such a category, and it's fusion of engineering and art together. But when I say design thinking, it is taking you one level further. You're thinking about communities or themes. You're thinking about what kind of experiences people are going to have. And under such a thing, you are, coinciding tech, business, and human life together. Under such a thinking process, everything that you get is going to be improvising lives around you. So we're going to do a very simple 3I design thinking process today, which is inspire, ideate, and implement. The 3 I's are very, very simple. They are meant to, fill in the possible gaps. So the first thing that you do while design thinking is either you pick an inspiration or probably you find a gap. These are the two ways. So we're going to learn it how inspiration is done. So I'm putting a picture on the screen. I want all of you all to observe this picture very carefully. It looks like something. So I'm keeping this for another 10 seconds and I'm going to change the slide post that. Okay, my chat box is tuning. Yes, I have answers to it. It is a chair which is inspired from, yes. Many of you are correct. This chair is inspired from the butterfly. It is biometrics or biomimicry rather, where these chairs are, artifacted from the shape and the structure of the beautiful butterfly. Yes. We're going to do one more such thing. And this is the most simplest one. This product is also inspired from something. And I think all of you can guess it, right? Is inspired from lungs. No. Garlic. Yes. Most of you are correct. It's inspired from the shape of the garlic. Okay, so we had something which looks like a garlic. It's broken, and you have all kind of olive oils. You have all kind of sauces, and you have pepper, and this goes on probably a table, and it's inspired from nothing but a garlic. Okay, so in the process of inspiration, what you did was you were mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something in the creative field or one's own life. Now, these inspiration can be from the following set of things. It could be because of your thinking. It could be memories from the back which inspires you. Maybe you were on a travel and you saw something very interesting, which is what you're going to remember. Maybe you interacted with me, or maybe you interacted with somebody else, and that is going to tell you the problem statement. Okay, maybe it is some set of your emotion. Do you know the emotion behind designing Facebook? Okay, try guessing. Another question for you. Yes, I have Varun raising his hand. Okay. So, do you know the emotion behind designing Facebook? Okay, to connect people, to chat. So, the emotion behind designing Facebook was loneliness. When he wanted to connect to his friends and family, he created something like this. Okay, maybe it is sometimes your dreams. Maybe it is something to you listen to, you read, you see, or many a times because we do this repetitively, we have to get inspired. Many a times it is by instinct also in such a case. Okay, so this is what means. I'm going to tell you this is the first step of your design process, which is inspiration. And inspiration can be any one thing out of the seven things I'm stating here, eight rather. Think it could be something in your memories. It could be because of the interactions you're going to have. It could be through travel, through emotions, through your dreams, through whatever you listen, read, and write. Many a times when I keep traveling around, I pick up inspirations like this. So last time I was designing a dabba, I was inspired by the Japanese people, and I happened to design something called as ubuntu. And ubuntus are are a pattern of tiffin boxes used there. They're beautifully decorated, and they give an ubuntu to somebody special, maybe a kid, where there is a fish shaped rice and tomatoes and everything put around. So it was about Japanese culture inspiring me to do something like this while designing it. And there are many such examples. So inspiration could be because of some culture also. I'm going to have a lot of activities. So yes, now I now have placed three images on the screen. I want you to guess what is the most creative value out of the three words I have listed there: aesthetic, social, and scientific. So for the first image, what do you think out of the three goes the best? I'm so sorry. Okay. So for the first image, what do you think is the most creative valued word that you can have to describe the first one? Okay, so almost all of you are correct in the same way. It's social. You have a lot of people around in the painting, they're working together, and there's a lot of interaction going on there. It's more like a group work. I can call it social. We move to the second image. So I think we've already sliced off social. Now you have aesthetic and scientific. What does the second image in your mind add to in terms of creative value when you look at the second image? So I have everybody who's smart. The second one is aesthetic, and the third one is scientific. Can somebody tell me where something like this, which is a water ball, can be, scientifically utilized? Okay. So it was in a conversation yesterday where I realized these are water drops, which can be probably, it is edible. Yes, it can be used for making a water bottle instead of a plastic water bottle. And this was smart. You can even tell me where you have seen a use of something like this, a water balloon. In space, okay, yes, it is used in space. It was also used in Olympics. Okay, so to reduce plastic water bottles, they created something like this, and I think it is a very fair, innovation to have. Another question, what is this? Ask a lot of questions, right? It is a hoodie, it's a phone cover, it's a mask, it can be a bag, it can be a legging, it can be a baby cot, carry cot, sleeping bag, hoodie, jacket. A lot of things are coming around to make make this discussion interesting. I think it's a baby carrier. It's like in small incubator, and which is very human centric design. Just imagine a mother who has to see the baby in a box and probably to access has some hand ports like this. She's going to be troubled a lot. So when the baby is put inside a cradle like this, it's fun for the child. It keeps him warm. The preterm baby maintains at a particular temperature. And who came up with this design? It was Stanford who came up with this design. It's called the Embrace. The product is called Embrace. It was an infant thermoregulator designed by them, which was designed for developing countries like us, Africa, and other places where for a preterm baby, the cost of incubation is quite expensive. In such a case, the cost was brought down. It was very useful. Plus, it was very human centered because the mother could have the baby with her. So many of you got it right that it's a baby carrier or it's a carry cot for the baby. With this we've seen how inspiration comes in to us in various formats, and now we're going to probably try quickly to do something into ideation. I hope all of you have a pen and paper with you. If not, I'm moving to my next slide. You can quickly grab a paper and pen. I'm going to tell you what ideation is, what people do, and what actually is meant to be done in an ideation process. And this you can utilize everywhere. Everywhere in your life, in while you work. It's such a nice subject that you will realize that design can be utilized in life also. So we're quickly going to learn what ideation is, and we're going to do ideation because we're going to do hands-on here. So we're going to do it. Please grab a pen and paper. So ideation is again a creative process of generating, developing, and communicating new ideas. Where an idea is understood as a basic element of thought that can either be visual, concrete, or many times abstract. Ideation comprises of all steps of a thought process from innovation to development to actualization where you have it live on your hand. Ideation can be conducted by you as an individual. It can be performed by groups. It can also be performed by organizations together. As such, it is an essential part of design process both in education and practice. Now, ideation happens in various forms. It can be using brainstorming techniques. It can be pure conceptualization. It could be done on a software. It could be utilizing creative techniques. It could be clustering ideas. It could be decision trees. We call them decision trees because there are a lot of decisions to make in the product. If not this is going to happen. It's more like a game in the decision tree. And it's also based on the originality. Maybe at times you do not have something of this kind existing and you want to bring it live. It is only ideation by originality where you can incept such a product to life. Okay. So I'm going to make you do an ideation process. See, I'm telling you, it is a creative process of generating, developing, and communicating new ideas. Now, what typically happens is, as we grow up, we stop thinking of things creatively. In the childhood day, the pillow meant to be not just a pillow, it had a lot of functions. You would build a fort with it, you would make it a ball and play with it, you would throw it there, if somebody would hug it like a teddy bear. So the whole process of ideation is we're going to generate a lot of ideas. What I want you to do in this activity, which is coming up for you, is stop thinking how stupid your ideas are, or whether they mean something, or whether they're useless. So, for a moment, which is probably for 5 minutes, you're going to stop thinking and you're going to learn to only pour out your ideas. Under such a process, when you're not filtering and when you're not thinking what is right or wrong, ideation typically happens where your creative brackets are built and your creativity goes higher. So I don't want you to do any kind of selective thinking. I only want you to keep writing, keep scribbling. People who are good at drawing can try drawing. People who want to write the idea, they can write the idea. You have to try and accomplish the task I give you. And trust me, it's not very easy to get it right, but I'm sure all of you are going to get it right. Okay. So probably whenever I have taken this activity, nobody has gone wrong. If you do not have a pen and paper, but you have a phone or something like this, start typing in any of the chat boxes, to notepads, to color notes, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm putting up an idea. I picked up a random object, which is a paper clip. I am challenging you to come up with 50 uses of this object, which is a paper clip. There are certain rules we follow in the game. There have to be no repeats. So if you're using a paper clip as probably something to do physiotherapy on the finger, it's one idea. You leave it there and you move to the next idea. Like this, probably you want to pin up your hair with the paper clip. Maybe you want to use it as an accessory. I'm just reducing the options by speaking, so I should stop speaking and I will leave it open to you. But I'll tell you all the rules. I give you 5 minutes and I want you to generate 50 uses of the same. When the time is up, I'm going to pick up the people who've completed the task or at least have got to some mark. Okay. So we're going to start this activity. It can look something like this, where you have a paper clip and there are many uses to it. Okay. So I'm just showing you quick ideation process and you can begin. I'm putting a timer of 5 minutes and we start exactly now. So all of you have 5 minutes. Hurry up. Let your brain pour out ideas on paper. Okay, so write down the ideas on your paper, use it. Don't write it on the chat box because I need 50 ideas and be fast. Time is ticking. More crazy the idea, more fun it is. Don't come out with common ideas. Think fast, think louder. Oh shit, my timer is gone. Yes. Be fast. Come up with as many ideas as you can think of. I need 50 ideas. All of you can write down the ideas on your papers and pen. You have a minute to come up with 10 ideas, so I'm sure you all have something around 20, 25 ideas on your paper now. So you have 2 minutes left. Anyone done with all 50 ideas? Hurry up. We have a last minute left. So you have another 30 seconds left. Anybody who's done with all 50 ideas? 40? Anybody with 40 ideas? 30? 30? Anybody about 30 ideas? Also, we have someone with 30 ideas. Okay, and the time is up. Okay, we have somebody with 51 ideas also. We have someone with 30 ideas. So, how many of you have about 30 ideas? Yes, so if you have about 30, you can say yes, me, all on the chat box. Yes. Okay. And I'm going to ask you, 30 ऐसे yes मत लिखो. Okay. So all the people who got at least 30 above idea, you have some inbuilt creativity. You have some inbuilt creativity uh, within you. And the people who have 40 above, you have already started exploring and utilizing your creativity in day-to-day life. And people who got above 50 are surely people who deserve to be in the creative industry, and who have decided that creativity is one part of them and is going to be probably part of their careers in very different ways. So I suggest people who've got above 30, 40, 50s, all of you can at least learn the process of design thinking well, so that you can utilize it in various fields. Maybe you will end up going to something like into the banking sector later in your life, or maybe you will end up going to something into computer engineering. Design thinking is always going to be a win-win technique that you utilize. You always can pick up inspiration. You can pull in your ideas in the similar way. It could be not an object, it could be a problem. So maybe you are a manager and your team has a lot of complaints and you want to make the functioning of your organization better. You can still do the same thing. You can pour out all the ideas with respect to everything that comes to your mind on a piece of paper like this. Then you can cluster ideas together, that these are these type of problems, these are these category of problems. You can categorize them, you can group them. These are all advanced techniques that you can use on your ideation, and you can cluster and form various ideas. Okay, and then you can try and implement them, which is our next phase. And we're going to move to something called as implementation. Now, when you go to implementation, it is one phase of design thinking. We're going to have a lot of things to do. You're going to maybe try and sketch the idea. Maybe you do a paper prototype of it. You fold up papers and you make the real object. Maybe that butterfly based chair that you see was done in paper prototype first and then kick into something in digital render and then probably created after it was liked by people. Okay, maybe you make mock-ups first. Now mock-ups can be with any type of material. Maybe you use straw, maybe you use sticks, maybe you use clay, maybe you use rubber or any form, glue, paper, pen. Everything can be clubbed together and converted to a mock-up. You can even go thoda sci-fi type and you can do something like very scientifically. You can design a 3D object on computer and you can 3D print it out. You can also do something like a fabricated product where you probably have metal, wood. You can go machine them and create a lookalike model. These lookalike models in the industry are typically done both either from say something like a wood or lookalike material, or many a times it has moved to software. Now we digitally render it. So now, since we are in the implementation phase and you're learning design thinking with me, you all have paper and pen. You're going to do a lot of hands-on activity with me. We're going to probably take a project now, a small project, which we'll try and implement in 15 minutes, and we'll see what we land up with in 15 minutes. I'm going to give you a topic, and then probably we're going to leave you free to come up with some solutions in the same process. So try to use all three steps, get inspired. You can probably do something like an ideation, and then you can come up with some implementation of how you want to reduce plastic waste. So everybody knows that there's a lot of plastic waste that we've generated and accumulated over years, and our landfills are dumped with them, and we are overloaded with the amount of plastic we have. So I want you to pick up an inspiration, which could be probably a bird to probably anything around you. It could be something based on your travel. It could be like the edible water balls that we saw earlier. It could be anything on this line where probably plastic waste is reduced. Okay. So you can probably do an activity where you can find facts why this problem occurs of having plastic waste. Why do you think we have so much of plastic waste around us? What is generating it? You can write it on the paper. We can also have a discussion on the chat box. So there is improper waste management. Somebody says we can, oh, okay. So you need to come up with all three steps. Try to think about all three steps. Pick up an inspiration. Try to ideate as many things as possible and come up with ideas. Okay, so since all of you all have started thinking, everybody does this, right? But now there are people who get into design have particular ways and styles of doing it. Obviously, by formal education, kuch to change hoga na in life. So I'm going to teach you some techniques that we utilize. The first one we'll try as a group is alphabetic brainstorming. Okay, under this technique, what we do is we probably try to convert all the solutions or ideas we come up to the problem, which is how to reduce plastic waste. And these ideas have to be brainstormed in the e-activity that we're doing with an alphabetic brainstorming, where you utilize the first letter of your name. So say my name is Lavina. When I want to solve the problem of reducing plastic waste, I would say, love to create buildings out of them. So I started with the letter L, and I reduced the plastic waste and I converted them to buildings. So maybe I wanted to create plastic walls. So each one of you can probably try doing something like this, an alphabetic brainstorming, where you use the first letter of your name and you try to brainstorm and put all your ideas to reduce the problem or here to reduce the plastic by using the first letter of your name. Your name starts with A. Aditya, your name starts with A. So you're supposed to put the idea across with the word A. Sonam, you are correct where you're saying that you want to build sculptures by the waste plastic. Okay. Bhumika is saying that I want to use building materials. Good one. Raghav, try to put the same thing with the letter R. Okay. Rebecca says that she wants to recycle. Okay. Raghav has come up with he wants to do robotics with the waste plastic. Cool. Okay. Hansa says she wants to make home products out of waste plastic. Okay, so now everybody is getting a little hands-on in using alphabetic brainstorming. Yes, you are very correct. Okay, nice one. You know, now this gets easier, right? Okay, cool. And I'm going to teach you another trick because you learned really fast. So we go to another trick into brainstorming, which is called the 6 hat trick. Okay, I'm going to put the 6 hats on the screen. The one I say I am wearing, you're supposed to do the task in that order. Okay, so I'm going to put the 6 hats up and what they mean, and you're probably going to use and you're going to write down what you feel about plastic waste in the same process. Okay, so I am wearing the white hat now. I want you to collect white hat means facts. Okay, when I am wearing the white hat, the brainstorming rule says that all of you are supposed to hunt information and data about plastic waste. What do you know about plastic waste? Where will you get the information you need from? So when I wear the white hat, everybody is supposed to find information and data. You generally Google the facts that there is 20 million tons of plastic waste generated every year. Okay, so this is a kind of data. Okay, anybody with such set of data? Plastic waste is not eco-friendly. Try to go more into information, data, and facts. The white hat states that it is all about facts. If you have your phone, you can probably do a quick Google on plastic waste and tell me some interesting facts in the same relation. Okay, so all the facts that you come up on the chat box are more or less that you know of, and you are doing information. Since we're doing a quick activity for now, this works for me. When you say something like 73% of beach litter is plastic, yes, that's like a very found fact. So we start from the information we know, and then we try to make more sense with that information. We convert that information to data. What do I mean by doing that is, you know everything, you read about it, then you convert it to data. Data are points which can be utilized in your projects as facts. Okay, so when somebody is saying 5.25 trillion micro and macro pieces of plastics in water bodies is set of data. 8.3 billion metric tons that is being produced every year, or probably 6.3 billion metric ton has become plastic waste. These are all, you started with information, you converted them to data facts. So now we are probably going to change the hat. We are going to put the yellow hat now. In the yellow hat, we do something called as benefits. What are the benefits according to you when you think of reducing plastic waste? What will happen if you try and reduce plastic waste? What are the positives of doing something like this? You will have better environment, you will have less pollution, you will save the environment, you will save the resources, you will have sustainable living, you will have less global warming, you will save nature, earth will become a better place to live in, you will reuse. Yes, you are all getting it right now. You will have lesser garbage to dump, so the landfills will be more or less vacant when you try to reduce plastic waste. Of course, the gas emissions will reduce, the carbon footprint will go down, marine life will be better. Yes. Okay, so now I go to the black hat. Now, these are the ones which I call cautions, difficulties and weaknesses, dangers, or these are spotting the risks that you have. You know, plastic waste as a whole has a lot of difficulty. It has a lot of negative impact on the environment, and there are a lot of risks involved in the same. So I want you to be more cautious now and put up the black hat and try finding all the difficulties that you have in the system which are stopping us to reduce plastic waste. Yes, you know, people have started guessing it right. A lot of plastic is not recyclable. It is cheap, so people use it. We do not have substitute or alternates to plastic waste. Yes. We have a lot of animals endangered because of the plastic waste generated. Yes. Companies are mass manufacturing without any check. They need to be cautious. Yes. You are all going on the right track. So the black hat is making you think and making you be cautious. Okay, so now I again change my hat. I change it to a blue hat. Now I'm wearing a blue hat. Tell me what you are thinking about. How do you think you can plan for an action to reduce plastic waste? Thinking about thinking is tough. Government should ban it. Yes. Companies should have a regulation. True. Beaches need a cleanup drive. Yes. Packaging of FMCG products have to be taken care. Yes. Yes, most of you are correct. We have to plan for action, and these plan of actions are going to have set of regulations which are going to stop in production of non-recyclable plastic waste. We can put ban on the plastic bags that we use in the country, and we can. This is thinking about thinking, separating the bins for plastic. There was a person who told me that we can probably put all our pet bottles into a particular bin, like a dustbin, and the plastic melts and we get plastic chunks at the end. We are any which ways throwing. So it's like a scintillator where you probably go and throw your plastic bottles. It separates the bottle cap and the bottle, and it melts down the plastic and converts slabs out of which the company can reuse. And I thought, yeah, that's really nice, and we should have it all across. Okay, so we're thinking about thinking, we're planning for action, where we're coming up with legal issues, we're coming up with legal policies for companies. Yes, you're right. We'll change the hat to a red one now. Feelings. Just like we spoke about Facebook, and we said when a person is lonely, he or she lands up, going to Facebook to find friends, to know about friends, to connect to them. In the same way, what are the feelings that a person will have in concern to reducing plastic waste? How will you probably make this process better? Yes, better recycling processes need solutions urgently, responsibility, making citizens more responsible. Do you think that because of the coronavirus, people have become more hygiene conscious? True, right? In some or the other way, we have to come up with feelings and intuitions that will make people move and go towards glass bottles or steel bottles, or probably ceramic based bottles like a matika bottle. How would they go back to using something of that kind when those products are made look more cooler, when they look more trendy, where they tell you that plastic waste are not an option. We need better environment. We need a better surrounding around us. Okay. So, feelings can change also with time. And in the process of design, there are no reasons given, because feelings here can change. What we feel right now due to a lockdown, we might not feel the same 1 year later. But we have to take care of the feelings while we're doing the design thinking process, and keep wearing the red hat again and again to double check. The last hat that I wear is the green one. What are the most creative solutions that can help me to solve the problem? Okay, I'm wearing the last and the final hat, which is the green hat, where I need to come up with ideas. I need to come up with alternates, and I have to come up with possibilities of how to utilize and reduce plastic waste that is generated. Okay, since plastic is cheap, somebody says that make it costlier, put high tax on it. Make concrete blocks of it and use it in structures. Okay, reuse it, make sculptures out of it, multiply, regrind, focus on alternates, create awareness. Okay, replace. Okay, nice. You can keep thinking. Okay, they've used plastic waste in Mangal mission to reduce plastic waste. Interesting. So I'll have to see Mission Mangal. I missed the movie. Okay. So we have interesting solutions coming out of the whole campaign we're doing. Yes. A centralized system with the kabaddi wala getting involved. Okay, nice. Examples of reuse. Okay, interesting. So we are about 60 ideas and creativity are pouring. What you do at the end of this task is you sit down together and you see what's viable and you come up with solutions. You pull in ideas, you club 2 ideas, you club 5 ideas, and you come up with great solutions. So all of you have started doing something like that. Maybe it is because you've started putting these 6 hats on. So whenever you are in trouble, try to use the 6 hat trick and keep wearing the hats differently at different times and try to think about all of these. Okay. So you have to think about the process, facts, feeling, creativity, benefits, and also the cautions that you need to take care while doing something like this. So I personally love this technique of the 6 hat trick. What do you think and what was your experience on this? I would surely like all of you to probably give a feedback to Colin how the 6 hat trick was, how the workshop went for you. Remember this 6 hat trick. If you forget it, probably Google it. Try using it from your day-to-day life to your college projects, to probably your company projects, and whatever you want to do. Write a feedback to them. Okay. So probably the 3I process is teaching you very simple 5 things to find simplicity in all the complex problems. See, if we would have started with reduced plastic waste as a very complex problem, we would have never landed up with some solutions like this. So finding simplicity in complexities is the most beautiful way where you can start problem solving. Having a beautiful and aesthetically appealing product so that more people get attracted to it. Improving clients and the users' quality of experience will take you one step further. Creating innovative, feasible, and viable solutions. You focus on the 3 words that I've used. You have to be innovative, you have to make it feasible, and you have to also make it a viable product so that it can live in the real world. Problems cannot be solved only on paper, and you can't just keep thinking. You have to bring them to life in reality. So addressing the actual requirements of the end users, just like I showed you, the design is all word of fancy things, but in India it means to have something like this because the environments around. So remember those 2 slides where you have all the fancy things around, which is also design. And remember the other slide where I showed you that this is the real-time scene of design. So come up with designs that make life around you better. And I wish you a very good luck for the future sessions you're going to have. Keep learning with co-learn and probably try to utilize the time in the best possible way.